Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. We got some great stuff coming to you today. Lots of crypto news popping off over the last week and a half, and we're going to try to cover it as much of that as we can on this channel. So stay tuned. Let's take a look at pricing before we dive into the news. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Certainly helps the channel. Bitcoin holding strong at 90,275, up 0.38% in the last hour, down just slightly in the last 24 hours. But you see the all-time high there, 93,346.40. We are not far off from that. And just last week, we were making all-time high. It's felt like every other day. So holding strong. Ethereum also holding strong, sitting at 3,097.77. Up 1% in the last hour, down pretty much flat in the last 24 hours. Solana sitting at 241.02, up just slightly in the last hour, up 3.8% in the last 24 hours. XRP up to $1.14. It was just a couple weeks ago that we were talking about this coin at 57, 60, 62 cents. And now we're sitting at $1.14. Up 2.15% in the last hour, up 4.19% in the last 24 hours. So things either holding strong or moving in the right direction here recently. Let's take a dive over into X and take a look at some news, because there is plenty of it. First, coming from Smoke Dog, he says the big boys are adopting blockchain quietly, but in big size, below the fold of the internet search engine. The successes that banks have made with blockchain technology behind the scenes has yet to be disclosed to the general public. Listen, he says in this interview. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a listen.
See in that space in particular over the next year?
Well, as you mentioned, it's also yield-bearing stablecoins. Stablecoins kind of has a wider definition, which also is a problem because we need to narrow that definition for people to really create standards and grow. But money market funds that are tokenized, we've seen that already come to fruition in two different places. First, Franklin Templeton, they created this, call it Benji app, where they've tokenized a money market fund. And interestingly, because it was tokenized in such an easy to use interface, that particular money market fund actually within the first month doubled their assets because everyone was using it because it's so easy to use, and there was an interest in getting more yield at the same time. JP Morgan, working with BlackRock, they've also tokenized a money market fund. So that's a perfect example of like adoption, product market fit, and unfortunately it goes below the fold in terms of the search engine headlines because everyone's so focused on just hardcore crypto stuff, whereas the call it big boys are actually adopting the blockchain technology below the fold and quietly, but in big size.
You heard it right there at the end. The big boys are adopting an app called Benji. Started to fly right away, started to be helpful. JP Morgan working with BlackRock on the blockchain initiatives. So it's happening, and we're going to hear about it, but you don't want to be too late if you are investing in crypto. So the sooner the better, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Coming in from Black Swan Capitalist, he says, NYU Professor explains how Ripple and XRP are transforming finance with XRP's on-demand liquidity on RippleNet, removing risk from instant cross-border settlements. Just to clarify, participants in RippleNet include central banks and major financial institutions globally. Let's take a listen to this New York professor at the World Knowledge Forum this year.
Ripple is one company that's been doing this since 2012. Its token is called XRP. So Bitcoin is one thing that trades on a blockchain. You can have other things trading on blockchain, the tokens, and that's XRP. And this is public permissionless. So anyone that follows the rules can kind of join and participate in this blockchain. It's open and public, okay? So the way the system works is if I want to send this money, I will look in Ripple's system and look for someone to quote me a price for essentially changing my dollars into yuan. If I find something that I like, I will do this transaction. So this depends on what Ripple calls its on-demand liquidity system. And then if it works in seconds. But I just want to point out what it's depending on. Like the blockchain dream is to have no financial intermediaries, but you're depending on someone willing to buy your dollars and sell you the token, and then on the other side to buy your token and give you yuan. So you're relying on you're relying on a set of market participants. So maybe it's not exactly the same as a bank, but it's similar, right? So you're relying on market liquidity to get this to work.
There you go. XRPL open for all to work on. Listen, it's more fast, it's more efficient. They're coming out with the RLUSD, which is going to draw in all types of liquidity for XRP and for Ripple. Here's another clip from Black Swan Capitalist and this same NYU professor, Bruce Truckman. Let's take a listen here as he compares Bitcoin to a dream and contrast it with what's been accomplished through fintech. Black Swan says the only real success story has been XRP and cross-border payments. Those price glitches are likely stress tests for what's already being built behind the scenes. For the record, and for my channel, I'm invested in both Bitcoin and XRP. I think they can coexist. Bitcoin more as a store of value, and XRP as a mode of moving money cross borders very effectively and efficiently. But blockchain and Bitcoin are also going to have other uses. They also use blockchain in another country right now to secure their voting system. And there's talks of that being done here in the States as well via eVote, something Elon Musk is looking into. So let's take a listen to this professor once again.
So 15 years ago it was that we had the first Bitcoin transaction in 2009. At that time, the paper that launched Bitcoin said the goal was a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, so people could send money directly to one another without financial intermediaries. Okay, so we'll eventually call that real-time gross settlement. It means you just send one payment from one person to another without anyone in the middle. So that was the dream 15 years ago. If we look forward to what's happened today, look back now from 2024 over the past 15 years, payment systems have actually greatly improved. When I mean greatly improved, I'll talk about in terms of speed, convenience. Convenience is mobile phone because now so many payments are on the phone, and access, that people who don't have any access to the financial system or didn't now do. So payment systems have greatly improved, but it's with fintech and without blockchain. The only successful blockchain sortie there's been, sortie I mean a very small attack if you like, the only successful blockchain there's been in large scale payment systems has been in cross-border payments.
There you have it. More information from this gentleman, which is really great to see. More and more people talking about it, more awareness there is, the better off this industry will be. So moving on to digital perspectives here, he's retweeting Sean. It says breaking HBAR board member at Brian Brooks, U.S., potentially the next chairman of the SEC. Brooks was nominated twice by President Trump for a 5-year term as comptroller of the currency, once during the 116th Congress and another time. So Brian Brooks' name is now popping up as potential replacement for Gary Gensler. In my opinion, this would be a great thing. This gentleman seems very bright, very in tune with the markets, and very pro-crypto. So, but willing to do things the right way. And I think this would be a great choice. There are other great choices, of course. We'll see what happens. Coming in from, this is coming over from notfinancialadvice.crypto. He says, November has been crazier and we're only halfway through. This guy does great videos. Let's take a listen to this one, which I shared previously, but it is good. So we'll share it again.
You really got to ask yourself, is there any other crypto with this many developments? Is there any other crypto company going this hard? Here are October's most bullish developments for Ripple and XRP. Ripple receives license approval from Dubai Financial Services, boosting Middle East operations. Bitwise files for an XRP ETF. Brazil's largest crypto exchange, Mercado, partners with Ripple to offer cross-border payments. Canary Capital files an XRP ETF. Ripple named Platinum winner for Best Cross-Border Payments Platform by Juniper Research. SEC Commissioner Mark Ueda confesses the agency's approach has been a disaster for the whole industry. Ripple launches crypto custody services for banks, expanding beyond its core payments business. Ripple wins the Power of Payments Award 2024 for Best Fiat Crypto Payments. U.S. exchange Bitnomial sues SEC over claim that XRP is a security. John Deaton destroys Elizabeth Warren in their first debate and mentions XRP on stage. Vice President Harris accepts $1 million in XRP from Chris Larson, and then she accepts an additional $10 million in XRP. Sheila Bair, former FDIC chair, added to the Ripple Real USD Advisory Board. Forbes named her the second most powerful woman in the world twice, by the way. Real USD coming to MoonPay, Uphold, Bitstamp, Bitso, Bullish, CoinMina, and Independent Reserve. Bitstamp calling it one of the few stablecoins issued by a New York trust company. Launch of First Ledger, a meme coin marketplace on the XRPL. Sends XRPL activity to all-time highs. Grayscale files with the SEC for an ETF that includes XRP. Elon Musk says XRP out loud for the first time. XRP. Elon Musk endorses John Deaton. PeerSys Technology integrates the XRPL into MetaMask, putting 30 million users one click away from the XRPL. Private equity firm Arum Equity Partners launches $1 billion tokenized fund on the XRPL. Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson discuss digital assets at the Federal Reserve. Garanti BBV partners with Ripple and IBM to enhance the performance and security of its digital platform. Ripple hosted this year's Hong Kong Policy Summit in collaboration with the FinTech Association of Hong Kong. I mean, what more do you need?
Crazy amount of news tied to Ripple and tied to XRP. Not a coincidence, in my opinion. Coming in from Metal Lawman, he says, just so everyone has the proper context, all of the policy wins described below were accomplished by @BrianBrooksUS, himself as acting comptroller of the currency under Trump 45. No one got more done than Brian in a short period of time serving in the Trump 45 administration. So again, Brian Brooks could very well be in line as the next chairman of the SEC. Let's get that resignation from Gary Gensler this week, if possible. Greg Crypto comes in here and says, we are in the psychological zone, $2 or 75 cents. Right now it's make or break for XRP. Either way, we fly high or face a major retest. Let me break it down for you using key indicators on the weekly time frame. He shows it here. Just again, showing the possibility of hitting 75 cents. There's always drawbacks. We know that. But there's an upward trend currently happening. So he's saying key, if dollar doesn't hold strong with a weekly open and close above it, my next target shift to 75 cents. He said, I didn't hodl for 7 years just to sell on small moves. When it's time to sell, I'll make it loud and clear on x.com. Stay tuned. So he's looking at some key levels here. Of course, you know, this is just his thoughts. There are many others like him. He does a great job. But, you know, give this guy a follow. See what he's looking at. He's not always right. He's not always wrong, but he certainly gives us things to think about. So shout out to Eggrag Crypto. Coming in from Crypto Erie, she says here, regarding Ripple, that, excuse me one second, understand Mr. Catal of SBI Bank and his shareholders are excited for a Ripple IPO because the liquidity created through the public market allows them a payoff of their investment. So there hasn't been much talk of an IPO due to Gensler being in the chair he's in and being against Ripple, but now that he's going to be gone, maybe that will change. And we'll have more news on that coming up in future videos. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Follow me on X @OrlandoMott, and we will see you on the flip side.